Hi, my name is Logan Hickey.
And I'm Robertson, also known as a spooky, scary skeleton, also known as the boy who just woke up.
And this is Quick Call an Adult, the podcast where we
Ta-da!
take questions from our family, friends, and listeners, and we answer them live. Well, live for us, pre recorded for you on this lovely podcast.
It's all off the cuff. It's raw. It's real. It's this. This is the content you asked for. Maybe not out loud, but you know you need it.
This is the content you're going to regret asking for in the next hour.
But see,
That's funny.
it's like eating a hot pepper. You regret it once it's happened, but later you're like, you know what? I'm happy I worked through it.
We want to start this podcast with some very positive feedback, which has led to us having to introduce something to this podcast, which is something we should have thought about, but we're happy to implement now. We've
Okay.
gotten some really great reviews lately, and people have been enjoying what we're talking about, which has been really positive. We did have one request though, because we do sometimes veer into some heavier topics like the current political things that are going on in the world and the pandemic and whatnot, which can be triggering for some people. And I want to apologize for myself, because as somebody who has mental health issues, I can understand how something can take you and can trigger you by complete surprise. And the last thing that, I mean, I can't speak for Robertson, but I'm sure you agree. The
Mm.
last thing that we want to do on this podcast is to trigger people because we started this out of a fun thing. Um, so, yes, when we enter or are going to enter these topics, we will say that we are getting up on our soapbox, um, which will be a signal for you, the listener, if you would like to skip forward, say 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops, to go past potentially triggering content with regards to the state of the world. I am very sorry that if anything we have talked about on this podcast has been triggering, and please, please, please keep sending us that kind of feedback because that allows us
Yes.
to be better podcasters, and it'll keep you engaged in our podcast because we don't want to push people away.
Yeah, and I also want to apologize if ever went there as well. I know I tend to veer in the vein of sarcasm and just the goofs and the gags. So I don't want that ever to come across as complacency. So I apologize as well as if I ever went anywhere. Uh, and yeah, it's just once again like we yes we do this for fun, but it's also like this is becoming something cool, and like this is awesome that people are actually like starting to hop on board. So please like let us know, if like give us the tips and tricks. We're always down to learn, we're always down to grow, and like we appreciate you.
Well, and we're both people who will completely admit to our screw ups. So, like,
Yeah.
if we say something that is triggering or veer into that sort of world, please shoot us an email at quick.callanadult@gmail.com, or you can find us on our Facebook page because we want to hear from you. That's the only way we get better is listening to the feedback we get. Um,
Yeah.
so thank you for taking the time. On another positive note, because I do think that's positive, because to me that all shows that you are as invested in this podcast as we are, which is exciting.
Yeah.
We thank you for that. I also want to thank that we received an email from a family friend of mine with a couple really good questions that we will be
Yeah.
answering today. And thank you so much for sending us that email. We
Yeah.
really appreciate it. And it's really exciting to be getting these emails because up until now, I've been getting them from people direct messaging me. And
Mhm.
this is the first time someone's actually used our email address. And that is ridiculously exciting to me.
No, that's so exciting. I also want to say I got messages actually, and some people were talking to me, asking me how Positivity Day with the students went, and it went very well, thank you. I think good points were brought up. I was a freaking cheerleader hype guy for like an hour for each class, and it was great. They all got a little bit scared of me because I was yelling at them. I was like, "Be positive, love yourself."
They're like, the message is clear, but the tone is very confusing.
I know. I like it's literally the feedback I got from one of my students.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, um, I believe. Now, I think now that I'm thinking about it, I think we were wrong. I'm pretty sure you started first last week, but screw it. We already decided you were going first. So
Right.
Robertson is our number one this week.
Woo! Number
Yeah,
one
because remember last
in
week
our hearts.
I did my question and we were like, oh shit, that was the last one.
Oh yeah.
Like
Okay.
accidental last question. So, but that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
You can totally go first this week. I'm fine with that.
Oh, well, thank you. Steps into spotlight. So now
Wait,
you're
they
all
sent you
probably
a spotlight?
but yeah, I actually bought one for my little called living room. I live in a bachelor. It's all the same thing.
It's all
But
one room.
I just bought a spotlight. It sits right above my bed.
That I don't.
Um,
I'm not going to touch that.
no, well, hey, actually, I have thought about it. This is 100% a side, 100% a side tangent. But my my siblings, actually not even siblings, my whole family and I love to give each other gag gifts at every like birthday, at Christmas. That's the only times you get each other presents. But like one, I have a the Art of Seduction George Costanza picture
Oh my god,
that
that's so funny.
that is way bigger than it should be.
Oh no.
And I really want to tape it above my bed,
Oh, please don't. You will never have sex again.
like on the ceiling, so that. But like while it's going on, we do like a full 360, like flip over, and she looks up at the ceiling and she's like, "What the fuck is that?"
I'd be leaving.
And then it gets even better.
Oh
Um,
no.
but I just thought, you know what? See, in the we, hey, you know what? It was a day of looking back and thinking about things that make us happy on the weekend.
Hmm.
Um, and I was so I got a question.
That was
What
a
is
really good
something
segue.
I do my best? I also, once again, let's keep in mind I did just wake up. That wasn't a joke.
Your segues are
Uh,
better when you're half asleep.
Good. I need coffee. But what is something really silly that makes you really happy? So like not like don't say like I love waking up to like birds chirping and flowers blooming. No, that stuff's all fine and dandy, but there's got to be something really goofy that makes you happy.
Mm. I love laughing, which sounds stupid, but my family gets like laugh attacks if we find something really funny. We can't stop. And it's those moments where you're laughing so hard, but you can't quite stop, but it's hard to breathe.
Mhm.
Those little moments I freaking treasure. We've
Oh
got a
yeah.
family friend too who more my dad just has the ability to get him laughing in the most funny ways, and he laughs so hard at first and it's usually like a little bit high pitched, but you know you've got him when he just literally stops making noises. Like you can tell he's laughing, but he's no longer making sounds, and it's freaking hilarious. And it's funny because my dad, the moment it happens, he like lasers in. You could see the lights go on behind his eyes, and his mind's going to see what shit he can say to keep Tobin, who's his friend, laughing as much as possible, and see how long we can take it. And my mom's got a video. They went up to a cottage of Tobin literally like my dad's got him laughing so hard that he falls out of his chair at the dinner table.
No, that's you done good if you get someone out of a chair.
Oh yeah, full on like falls out, tries to get up, walks over to like a support pole in the cottage, grabs onto it for support, and then slowly slides down it in the video like a stripper.
Jesus. That like
It's so
hey,
funny.
that's that's really funny.
What?
That just a wholesome moments like that.
Yeah.
Well, mine's a bit weirder of an answer. See, there's a couple things. I gotta say, a guilty pleasure of mine is, and I'm gonna preface with this: I am not a runner. I will run maybe a block and then realize I could have walked that block, and I stop running. Um,
I just don't
but
even
when
start.
people, hey, I'm talking about the rare occasion I start running. Uh, but it is a guilty pleasure for me to watch people run who are a bit too tired to be running at that moment. It just, I don't know why it makes me so happy, but it does. Because you got the different ones. You got the little shimmy shakers that are just like trying to move their body but can't fully do it. You got the little T-Rex arms where their hands are limp wrist flopping around. It's just there's so many good ones.
I
It
live
just
for T-Rex arms.
it gets me. It just makes me giggle, and like I don't know why it makes me as happy as it does, but it does.
It's
And
when
I'm
they're
not
all
making fun of these
floppy.
people. It makes me happy to see it.
And when that shows that they've been putting in a good effort because they're so
Yeah,
exhausted that they're just flopping their arms around, and you
they're
know,
all. What? Sorry.
I said, and you know that they just worked hard.
Oh yeah, sorry. I got really excited because I remembered that in my neighborhood there's like a wacky wavy arm inflatable tube man, but it's a Grim Reaper, and he just like wiggles slightly. And oh my god, and this is I'll say this: I go for like daily walks and jogs, like running. I don't do the running, but I'll do like a little bit of a jog. Which yes, there is a difference in my brain.
Love it.
Uh, and every time I run or walk past that wiggly skeleton, it makes my freaking day.
I love those. They're so funny.
They are so funny. And I've I feel like I've scared some families because I'll walk, I'll stop, look at it, giggle, and then keep going.
People are like, "Who is this man? He's a
There's a
little
crazy
weird."
man. Yeah, but it's the little things in life.
Yep. Yep. So my first question is a little bit less funny and more life related. This is the first one
Mm.
from Christine, our family friend. Thank you again. Thank you so much for sending this. We got really excited when we got the email.
Oh yeah.
So it's how do/did you transition from having your parents book or remind you to book medical appointments, especially if you no longer fall under their medical insurance and maybe don't have your own?
Mm.
What do you think?
Yes. So, see, I'm very bad for stuff like this, but I also like my my parents would just kind of be like, "Yeah, we're going to the dentist today. Get in the car." Ah, dag nabbit. But then like, so it's never like my parents wouldn't be like, "Hey, you're going to this," and then go on to just be like, "Ah, like, we're going." Or they honestly, they probably did tell me, and I just forgot. It's probably all on me. They're probably listening to this, rolling their eyes. But it was a very for me, it was more of a drastic transition because I did move across the country. So it wasn't like
Yeah, that's
they,
true. You jumped immediately to having to
yeah.
do all that.
So like my parents couldn't help me out, be like, hey, if you want to drive in, like we've talked to your doctor, he'll come and take you in if you come at this time, like that sort of thing. It was like, they don't know anybody here. I
Hmm.
don't know anybody there. In school, I was still on my dad's insurance, but then it, I grew up and I'm not anymore. And I'm a performer, so I don't have insurance.
Yeah, I ended up getting private insurance once I hit old enough to be off my dad's, because I'm like, uh, not soapbox moment, but kind of in that vein of those who are minimally incomed. If they don't have health insurance, being poor or under the poverty line um, is expensive, which sounds silly, but because you can't afford to get your teeth done, so you don't go get your teeth done and maybe get a basic cavity filled. So then you push it off and push it off and push it off and push it off because you can't afford it. And then all of a sudden you have to, because it's a health issue, get like a root canal done or something rotten pulled out because it's affecting your overall health. Like you have to get health insurance. Um, and you have to find the money to go to these doctor's appointments because being below the poverty line, especially as a performer, a lot of us, at least when we're starting our careers, live below the poverty line. You have to make sure to be getting those and hitting those. So for me, I would say technically I do some sort of blend of each. So I've got my own health insurance.
Mm.
And if it's convenient, my mom will book the appointment. So what I mean by that is, so I live in Toronto. Right now I'm in Oshawa living with my family, but normally I live in Toronto. But my dentist, longtime dentist, is in Whitby. So they have the home phone number because my parents still have a landline as my sort of permanent number. So they'll call the home, um, and my mom will either let me know that they called, so then I'll call them from my cell, or she'll book me an appointment if she knows my schedule. Um,
Hmm.
and like for even the other day, she wanted to see her chiropractor, and I was like, "Oh, I need a chiropractic appointment." So she set up the initial appointment for me. I'm taking care of the booking ahead of time, but it was convenient because she was already there, right? Even though we're
That's
not
fair.
on, yeah, even though we're not on the same insurance. So I would say for the most part, I book my own appointments. But if it's convenient, I have got no problem with my mom, even just asking or like letting me know that an appointment's available. It's a bit of teamwork, and especially because my mom's once I graduate, my mom is taking over as my calling it momager, helping me get auditions and such, and an agent because she's retiring and she wants to do this as her job.
That's
Um,
dope.
so she needs to know my schedule as well. So we openly communicate about like medical appointments and such. So I
Mm.
think err on the side of booking your own stuff because you know your schedule better than any family member will. Um, but also, like, don't feel shame as an adult if it's a convenience thing. Like, we all go to the exact same dentist. So if my mom's in and the dentist is like, "Hey, we know Logan's up, like, due for a cleaning. Do you want to book him in?" Then she can just call me and go, "Hey, they said you're due for a cleaning. I don't know your schedule, so just book it in." But if she knows my schedule, I got no problem with it,
Yeah. Oh, totally fair. Yeah.
right? Like don't depend on your parents to book all your stuff. You're an adult, but if it's convenient, of course, like.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between like coddling and helping,
Yeah,
sort of.
exactly. And I mean, if you're super busy, like I have a busy schedule. I don't always remember that I have to book my dentist appointment every 9 months to a year for cleaning. But my mom goes because she's more on top of that. So if she goes in and they tell her, then she'll call me and either she'll set it up for me or I'll call and set it up. It's teamwork, really.
Makes the dream work.
Exactly, exactly. Speaking of dreams, not related to your question at all. Segue, you have question number two.
Right. What? Whoa. Okay. So hold on to your shorts for this one, folks. Here we're getting into spooky territory.
Spooky, spooky.
So, would you stay if someone would like you get all the cabinets are full, all the amenities, you ain't gotta pay a cent. We will even give you like I'm trying to think of an appropriate amount. Let's say $200. You just gotta stay one night in this house. Oh, BT Tubbs, it is like super haunted. Do you take it? This is part one of
It
the
all depends
question.
on how malicious the ghosts are known to be.
You don't know.
You don't
You got to
know.
take the chance. You just know that they use the word super before haunted.
Uh-oh. Super haunted. That makes it sound
And
real
they
haunted.
yeah, and they didn't say it. They weren't like, "Oh, it's super haunted." They were like, "Oh, it's super haunted." Like they did the
Uh-oh.
dip into the super.
Super. I would say no, because if it's anything like Haunting of Hill House or Haunting of Bly Manor, which are both on Netflix right now, also both very good. We're only halfway through Bly Manor, but Hill House and Bly Manor are both phenomenal um, TV shows, which are really cool. But I would say no, because in all of those instances, there is risk of death when the paranormal thing gets too boisterous. And I would rather not die, even if it's for like a monetary gain. Because yes, I could come out of it completely fine, but ghosts aren't necessarily always rational. And I'm like, better not. Like, cool. I would say I would love to see an paranormal investigative team check it out, but I would sure as shit not want to stay there.
Oh, fair. I would say I wouldn't go alone.
Oh yeah,
Which
don't go alone. Oh yeah, that's.
uh
I
oh
agree
my
with that. I would go with people.
yeah, like I would go if I wasn't going by myself, but oh my god, what if they offered that you were allowed to take one celebrity to the haunted house? Like they oh my god, sorry, I shot my hair tie across the room. That it caught me off guard. It made me jump a little bit.
That is okay
We're
because
talking
we're
about
talking
haunted
spooky.
houses. I thought it was a ghost that stole my hair tie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Anyway, house, but you get to take any celebrity into the haunted house. Who do you take?
Chuck Norris.
That's a good answer.
Just because it is widely like the joke that everything is scared of Chuck Norris, so I'm like, all right, I'm more than happy to have the dude that scares everything because everything includes ghosts with me in the mansion.
Ooh, true, true, true.
I mean,
That's
I'm
good.
sure he's just a nice. I'm sure Chuck Norris is just a really nice guy,
He
and
looks like a
like,
sweet man.
yeah, he looks like a sweet man. He just has that like ridiculous rep of like everything is scared of him, which is freaking hilarious. So yeah, I would bring Chuck Norris or someone equally badass like Danny DeVito. Uh,
I would I would pay to watch Danny DeVito run around in a haunted house.
that would be great. He is hilarious, and I just
I
would
love
love to
him.
like put a GoPro on him and just hear what happens.
Oh my god. Then you just start selling Danny DeVito plushies that are like those teddy bears that are like way too big. Just like life-size Danny DeVito teddy bears.
Lol, that'd be great. What about
I
you?
would totally. Oh my gosh. I'm actually gonna give an IRL answer to this, but like I would take like Jason Statham or John Bernthal. Just be like, anytime something bad happened, they would like they would flex slightly and like step in front of me, and I'd be like, "Save me,
Yeah, Jason Bateman is a 100% badass.
Jason
Now,
Bateman." You
oh
mean
no,
Jason
no, Jason
Statham?
Statham. Oh my God, not Bateman. LOL. I do like Jason Bateman, but I meant Jason Statham because you said Jason Statham, not Jason Bateman. Good lord.
For a second, I was like, "Did I say that?" Yeah, he just like slightly flexes his muscles and just like shuffles towards the ghost.
Though Jason Bateman would be entertaining.
That'd be funny.
I would spend a time in a haunted house with him just because he would make jokes and I like him.
But actually, the more I think about it, I think Danny DeVito is the best choice.
He would be entertaining. You'd have fun. He would probably be just as scared as you, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like we'd have a good time.
All of a sudden, he start like the ghosts and goblins and ghouls start coming out, and he just starts like putting up hands and like whacking them from side to side. Turns out Danny DeVito's like a freaking MMA prodigy.
Secret badass, 100%. Danny
I
DeVito,
feel like
secret badass.
I think it's there.
Nope, 100%. Swagway, I smell
Well,
one.
oh, it smells like raisins.
So this is our second. What? Okay. So this is our second question from Christine. Thank you again.
Oh,
Do you keep up with things like dental, chiropractic, and therapy, or have they just fallen by the wayside?
no, I don't know. See, I live my life by the age old saying, put a band aid on it. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but hey, Rob, that's not a good idea. I know. My body's falling apart. I'm 24 and I've got problems with the wazoos. But I'm also aware that I can't always afford to do these things. So I take, well, now I'm doing this amazing new thing. It's doing wonders for my body. And I really think that everyone should try it. I'm drinking water these days and it's great. And
Uh,
like, like, I don't know. I just like, I try to stretch every day, do something physical, whether like it's just a little workout or like a run or so, or sorry, not run, a jog. I don't run, I jog, but like just a little something. And
mhm.
just to try to like strengthen my body, keep it healthy and going so that I don't like my quality of life is not affected at all by the fact that I don't do this stuff. But the second it starts to, then I go.
Mhm.
But
100%.
I'm just trying to make sure that I don't need to go because the stakes are so high there.
I would say for me, I do keep up with it as much as possible. I do my yearly dental. I let my chiropractic sort of slide by the wayside, and I just started up again actually yesterday. Um, and therapy I just started a couple weeks ago. Um, in my opinion, there is no bad time to put your mental and physical health as a priority. I get that we don't always have the money. That is something that we're living in a society where stuff's very expensive, and the wage gap is getting huger. Huger? That's not really a thing. Far wider
It's
than it should be.
growing.
Yeah. So it's not like I paid $90 yesterday for a chiropractic adjustment. It's expensive. Um, but at the same time, there are resources out there that you can find for things where they do offer sliding scale prices and discounted prices for students and for people who are self-identified as having financial need. Don't abuse it. Those systems are there for a reason. Like I'm a part of a therapy network that does sliding scale, which is why I can afford to get therapy. And there's a lot of places that do free as well, if you meet certain criterias. So my biggest piece of advice is to try to be on top of that stuff because you do only have one body, and especially if you're younger. And you already need like chiropractic adjustments or massages because you're very physically active, or dental. Um, it's very important because if you don't take care of it when you're younger, when you're older, it causes you worse problems, right? Like
True.
we tend to there's this attitude often when we're young. There is that feeling of fearlessness and whatever, invincibility sometimes for some folks. But if we damage our bodies in our 20s and our teens, then when we're in our 30s and 40s and 50s, our bodies deteriorate that much faster, right? So we have to make sure that we are keeping up with things like dental and chiropractic and therapy and whatnot. And if you don't have health insurance, shop around for one. There are a few plans out there that are fairly reasonable. Like I pay about $90 a month, give or take, for health insurance right now, and it definitely has helped. It's a basic plan, but it's a plan that works, and certainly helps me with medications and my appointments. So I'd say yes, I do my best to keep up with it all. And I should do better. And I think we really all need to do better with that stuff because you only
Mm.
got one body. And if you push it past its limits, you might not be able to come back from that. Like, not that, and just to be clear, I'm not saying it'll kill you, but I'm saying that eventually, you're if you keep having a recurring, like for example, my muscles in my back pull my ribs out of place. So if I don't go getting a chiropractic adjustment every once in a while, those ribs will just keep shifting slightly more and more in the socket, and then I get in pain and it hurts to breathe because my ribs aren't in the
Oh,
right place,
yeah.
right? So rather than wait till you're in pain, if you and then you have to do it more. Like for example, I have to go back to tomorrow and twice next week. That's $270 I have to pay. Now I get a little bit back because of my insurance, but $270 more I have to pay for the close chiropractic appointments because I let it slip,
Yeah.
right?
And I
So
will
I'm
say
paying
too,
more for it now.
true. There I will also say, and I once again I'm not saying that by doing this stuff you're gonna become a therapist or chiropractor yourself, but there are so many resources out there right now that are just like just Google it and figure it out. Like the amount of because like through dance backstage, if something's going on with like my quad or something, I can't just run off to a doctor and come back. Like so many people, I mean, I'm very lucky that a lot of my friends are very knowledgeable with this stuff. And then through that, I've gotten a very great awareness through like parkour dance, like everyone's knowledge imparted onto me. And like through looking it up, I'm pretty aware of what I need to do to upkeep my body and like through mental
Hmm.
health stuff. Just like if you take the time, like the stuff is out there, but you have to take the time.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's going to be less time, more money to just go to someone that knows the stuff. But if you want to sit down, take the time to learn it and work through it yourself, it's going to take a lot longer. But
I also suggest that
yeah.
you still go to therapy
Oh
because
yeah, totally.
there's stuff that you're not going to be like, people aren't going to be able to work out on their own because you're too close to the problem. You need somebody who's got an objective perspective, who's outside of your own brain, because we always screw ourselves up even if we don't know it. We don't always, our brains don't always function the way you think they should. And it's like if you are not trained to be a therapist, you could make your situation worse by
Oh yeah.
attempting things that you don't understand.
Oh yeah,
So
and this is once again like I'm not saying you're going to Google it and become a master. I'm just saying that like for base level upkeep and like not for like crisis situation problem solving, but for basic upkeep and like uh civilian level understanding, the
mhm.
resources are out there so that
Well,
you can keep at a good level
yeah,
and not dip
exactly.
to the crisis as quickly. Sometimes it happens.
And reach out to the people in your life who have a better sense of mental health. Like, don't ask them to therapize you, but be like, hey, I'm in a rough place and I'm doing these things. Like, I'm really busy. Any suggestions? And people will likely tell you um, what works for them. And you can either take that and try it yourself, or you do things that, or you modify it, or you might say, ah, no, that's not quite what I need. So you ask someone else, right? Use the people in your life as resources. Don't try to make your friends and partners into therapists, because once you enter, like, once you, even if it's subconscious, uh, once you start treating your friends and your partner as therapists, your actual friendship and your relationship can go away, right?
Yeah.
Nobody can be each other's everything. You
Don't
should
be a
have,
hero.
yeah, exactly. Uh, you have your friends who can help and who can listen, but don't expect them to be your therapist,
Yeah.
because that's not their position. And once they overlap positions, then you could potentially start taking advantage of each other, but and not be aware of it, right? Like, you don't want your phone calls and your coffee dates to turn into this is therapy, because then
Yeah.
that doesn't help anybody. Like,
Only
keep them separate.
only lean on them. Oh, they can only be that for you if their name is Haagen Dazs and they're creamy and delicious.
I do like Haagen Dazs ice cream. I will agree.
If if you are sitting there listening right now and you can consistently, I know I see you looking shy over there. I see you. God, you look good today, by the way. Did you do something with your? Is that a new shirt? I don't know, but like, keep doing you. But still, stop shying away. I know the one time, like, everyone says like, oh, I don't, I can like eat half a Haagen Dazs and save the other half. No, we all know you've only done it once. You can't do that. You can't consistently do that.
I
You
know,
got to
I
eat the
know.
whole tub.
Eat the whole tub, a whole tub
Sorry,
of
I got
ice cream.
distracted. I clued into how you look today. You look at you.
Speaking of ice cream,
Sorry, I'm flirting with the audience again.
segue.
Mm,
This is segue the episode. It is your third and final question, I believe.
yes. So, also in the theme of the Monster Mash, oh my god, I heard a fact about the Monster Mash the other day. Someone told me that the Monster Mash is a song about the Monster Mash, but you never actually get to hear the song called the Monster Mash, and that fucking destroyed me.
Whoa, wait, what?
Because like the words, it's like it was the mash, it was the Monster Mash, it was a graveyard
But
smash,
you
or
never hear
whatever
the
it is.
song that is the
But
Monster
you never
Mash.
get to hear the Monster Mash. It's a
Holy
song
shit.
about a song. Like the Monster Mash isn't the Monster Mash. It's about the song that's called that.
It'd be like a song about the Macarena, but you never actually hearing the Macarena.
No, it's a song talking about how fun it is and how you're probably going to have to learn how to do it in elementary school dance class, and you're not going to want to stand close to the opposite
That's
gender
so
because they got
cool.
cooties.
Also, total sidebar: the Macarena, found out, is actually extremely dirty as a song, like totally filthy as a song. But because it's
Oh,
not in English, we don't realize that. So that's why it's played at every like high school dance. If people actually knew the lyrics, they'd be like, "Oh shit!" It's basically about a girl named Macarena, I think is her name or something like that, and like, "Hey Macarena," that's supposed to be her name, and the whole
ah,
thing is the whole song is basically about. Now I'm totally butchering this because I don't have the translated lyrics in front of me, but it's essentially about how hot she is and how much they want to have sex with her.
it's like Despacito.
Oh my god, I know Despacito. It sounds so great, but it's like, oh, this is so dirty.
There, one of my younger classes
This
was
be
like,
really dirt.
play Despacito. I was like, no, I'm gonna play Studiopolis from Sonic Mania, and they were happy with that apparently.
Despacito's so fun though. It just got that beat that you're like,
It is
yes,
fun,
even though it
but
is
I
so
also was
so
like,
dirty,
I
so
don't
dirty.
want, I don't want to play this for my younger class. We're
It's a
gonna,
really dirty song.
and if you're wondering, but Rob, you teach dance class. Why are you playing Sonic Mania stuff? Shh. But anyway,
We don't talk about that.
we don't talk about that. It's a good song to warm up to. It's a freaking jammer. But
Sorry, I'm
anyway,
just like pulling accents out of my ass right now. I'm gonna
yeah,
stop.
it's great. That's where you keep them?
Right up there.
Oh, my goodness. So what is the scariest video you've ever seen? Not movie. I'm talking YouTube video, freaking Reddit clip, Instagram story. Like, what is the scariest video you've ever seen?
Okay, there's that one. It's hard because Dustin,
Mm,
who's my brother, and I watch a lot of scary videos. We watch like
mm.
Nuke's Top Five.
I love Nuke.
Yeah, Nuke's great. Chills is another really good one.
Number 15.
Yeah, I love Chills. The way he speaks is phenomenal. Like it actually brings me into the story for some reason, and I love it.
Burger King foot lettuce.
He's great. I love it. But Chills, Nuke's Top Five, and Gloomy House. Gloomy House is fucked though. Sir Spooks. Those are
Mm,
four really good YouTube channels for stuff like that.
yeah.
I would say probably the scariest video. I'm gonna do two ones. So one is live video, and one is Dustin and I will watch scary movies anime or scary stories animated. So there people submit their air quote real life stories, and then they get animated and narrated over. But for
Mm,
like sort of live ones, it was in Russia. I think it was either on Chills or Sir Spooks. I think it was, and they were going to explore like this underground sort of tunnel, and they were walking down to it, and the camera's sort
mhm.
of on the tunnel,
Oh,
and
sorry. I just had a voice crack. I just went through puberty.
that is okay. And they're talking about it, and all of a sudden, like the face of a figure just sort of comes into focus a little bit from the like shadowy tunnel, and they run away. And it's either like it's so anxiety inducing to me because you're watching the tunnel for so long, and you're like, I know something's going to be there, and then
Mm,
when it just sort of appears very slightly and comes into focus, I'm like, nope, get out, get out, get out. So that's one. That's one of them. Uh, the other one was an animated scary story of a young person. I can't remember if they were male or female, and it doesn't really matter to the story, but they were home alone, and they were just in their room doing whatever, and they um, were looking out their window, and there was a dude with like a machete or a baseball bat or something that was watching them from the front yard, and he was like, he or she was like, get off my property, like go away. And he looks up and says, don't look away. Sorry, my two cats are like fighting slash mounting each other right now.
oh,
It's not like they have, oh, they're running away. Okay, I started moving and they're like, get out, get out, he sees us. um but yeah, anyway, so the person basically says, don't look away. And of course, the kid backs away from the window to call 911. And when he looks back, the person's gone. And he realizes, I'm just using he just because that's what's coming out of my mouth, but I think it was a he.
yeah.
Anyways, doesn't matter. He realizes that that he left the back door unlocked. And the guy goes around and comes in through the back door and says, I told you not to look out or look away from the window. And he starts coming up, and the kid like locks the door and calls 911. 911's all the way, and they ended up chasing him out of there basically. But he attacked the 911 the police officers, and kept trying to attack the young lad. And then he ended up running away, and if I'm not mistaken, he didn't get caught. So that's freaky to me. That really made me unnerved, because not only did the person come into the house, but when the police showed up, they didn't stop. They started attacking the police, still tried to come for the kid, and then they escaped. That's what freaked me out the most.
Mm, yeah, I definitely also like it's October. I start every day with a couple scary videos, and like, yeah, of course, Nuke's top five,
So good.
top five. Just that is a good channel as well. Slapped Ham, I just found, and they're great.
Something
Um,
about his voice, though. I'm not a huge fan.
I mean, I don't really listen to what the people say. I'm mainly just in it for the videos. But going back, I think I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while, so I feel like I'd watch it now and be like, "Eh, whatever." But just the way I felt the first time watching it, that video where it's the two little girls sitting in the kitchen and they see something in the room beside them. You never get to see what it is, but just the way that they start screaming and crying and like it's like if you know this video, you've immediately clicked into which one I'm talking about. But it just if you haven't seen it, you want to get freaked out, just search like two kids kitchen see a ghost or something like that. Like it gets me every
Mm.
time. It is freaky.
I don't think
There's
I've seen
also
it, but I'll look it up.
oh do it. It's like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but just the look of how scared these two kids are and the fact that it never shows you what's in the room that they keep looking into. It's just ooh, it's well done and it's freaky as hell. Uh there's also another one about it's usually labeled as a pale walker, but it's probably just a
Mm.
vagrant who's trying to scare the kids away. There's an urban explorer group and they're going, and at the end of the hall, there's just this like emaciated, pale figure that just slowly on all fours starts crawling out from behind a door. And at
Creepy.
first, all the guys are laughing, and then it just like keeps coming closer to them, and then just like full tilt starts going
It's
for them.
crawling.
Yeah,
Was this in an old hospital or something like they're urban
yeah.
exploring? Okay, I've seen that. Yeah, no, she's definitely. It looks like a female, um, but because they have shoes, I don't know if you like. I've rewatched that video a couple times on different channels, and someone points out. I think it was Chills actually points out that because she has shoes, that it's likely like a homeless person or a mentally unstable person
Oh, probably.
who is
But see
wandering
the
through.
Yeah, and the thing is too is that like I don't know if that's freakier. If I was in an abandoned place and a person started crawling towards me, I would still drop a dookie. I would not do
So
well.
I firmly believe in ghosts, and the
Mm.
paranormal. For me, a live unstable person is far scarier than a ghost because a ghost, for the most part, unless they're a really powerful ghost of some kind or like a demony thing, can't really manipulate the world around them. They're
A ghost with
ghosts.
the most.
Exactly. But a person who is unstable and mentally unwell, they can cause you real physical harm now. That's what freaks me out about it because they can right now they could potentially kill you, where a ghost not necessarily. Freak you out, of course, but not necessarily can kill you. So I would say that they're far more scary, which kind of leans into my last question,
Whoa.
right? Actual segue, which is what is your favorite horror genre or movie? Or it could be TV show as well, but what is your favorite, like, when you think horror, what's the thing that you like most?
Oh, okay. If I actually want to get scared, it's ghosts. I they freak me out.
Mm.
But if I want to watch a horror movie and have a good time and still get a bit freaked out, like folklore monster horror,
Okay,
I
yeah.
love it. I love unique monster and creature designs. I've been very fortunate that I've got to do creature acting a couple times, and I think it is such a beautiful thing to do. So I just
Mm.
love seeing new movement forms, seeing new designs, and I just like I eat that shit up. I love that kind of horror.
Have you seen Pan's Labyrinth?
Yeah, I love.
Epic.
Oh, so good.
Epic.
They also still use actors as the monsters, which I really appreciate them for doing.
Oh yeah, total. So I'm gonna say Alien. Alien to me was one of the first shows like horror franchises I was exposed to, and I loved it. There's other ones I've watched that are really good. Like I love the Insidious franchise, the Exorcist movies, great. But Alien just has like a good place in my heart for horror.
Mm.
Mostly, but the first one and the second one specifically, as well as AVP, because the third and the fourth movies they leaned heavily on computer animation for the aliens, and there's something just less scary about that. When you, because I think we are intelligent enough as people to still separate that for the most part CGI from real life. So in the first two aliens, for me, what made it scary was because you knew that it was real and there with her. Not real in terms of like obviously that type of xenomorph alien doesn't actually exist at this point. We haven't, at least to our knowledge, but you know that she is there with the thing. right? And yes, you know it's a person in a suit, but there's something about it physically being in the world that is so much scarier than something digitally inserted, which is why things like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween, because yes, there's for the most part there is some sort of paranormal underlying thing, but they are physically there in the space, which makes them scary.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like top two scary movies for me probably are the first remake of Invasion of the Body Snatchers and The Exorcism of Emily Rose. And once again, like, well, I mean, I will say Emily Rose, they did use CGI, but a lot of the like just actors, like the performances from them was so like freaky. Also, if it's a slow burn, that's what gets me. I feel like the CGI stuff is like monster in your face. Here's the monster, and then I'm just like, oh, cool monster. But then with the original Aliens, they like let you get attached to all the characters. They
Yep.
let you see them slowly descend from being this hotshot crew to these people that are like genuinely not sure they're gonna survive, and like their relationships degrade. Once again, you care about the characters because you've gotten to know them, so you're affected by the degradation of their relationship. So it's just like the slow. I watched a really good person talk about it called The Critical Drinker. It's a drunk Scottish person who reviews movies, and they're amazing. But yeah, so I agree with that.
There's something about letting the mind play tricks as well. Like one of the more successful scary movies would have been Jaws when it came out, and
Oh
because a
yeah.
big part of that is the shark is only on screen for such a small amount of time that it fucks with your head, and that's the kind of stuff that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Quick Call an Adult. If you would like to send us your questions, you can reach us either on the Facebook group or through our email at quick.callanadult@gmail.com. You can reach us anytime there. We do also have a Twitter that we are, or at least we're trying to figure out how to use more efficiently. Um, but that's it for me.
Yeah, and just right before you go, make sure it's spooky season. Go look at Halloween decorations. Go get yourself some little snacks, little candy bars. Take a wink at yourself and remind yourself that you a cutie.
Bye.
Toodles.